So Be'ez Hashem, we'll learn a little bit from the Zohar Kaddish, the Zohar on this week Parsha, the Parsha of Vaera. So the Zohar starts off like this. The Pasuk starts off in the Torah, Vayidaber Elokim al Moshe. Elokim speaks to Moshe, Vayomer Elov, and he tells him, Ani Hashem, I'm Hashem. So Vayidaber, Dibur, which is Lashon Kash Digmar says Amakas, that Dibur is like a harsh language, that Elokim himself speaks to Moshe and tells him, you should know, Ani Hashem, Am Hashem. What does this mean? What does it mean that Elokim tells Moshe, Ani Hashem? And then it continues in saying that I have appeared to Avram, Yitzchak, Yaakov, Kel Shakai. I appeared to them in the name Shakai, but I didn't reveal my name. So what's the pasuk saying? Before we get into what the Zohar writes, the pasuk is simply saying that Elokim, which is the name that refers to the divine as judgment, as constriction, tells Moshe that you should know that I am Hashem. Hashem is the name for compassion. Tifer is compassion. It's the name that's connected to the world of compassion. And you should know that Ani Hashem. Then the name Elokim, famously, is numerically 86, which is the same numeric value as the word for Ateva, for nature. Like the Ramak writes. That the idea is that Elokim is connected to the natural world. The numeric value of the word Ani Hashem, in total numeric value, is 87, which is Elokim, the same numeric value as Elokim, plus 1. Ani Hashem, 26 and 50, and 61. Ani Hashem and Shem Hashem. What is it saying? It's saying that you should know that Elokim, what you think is constriction, what you think is limitation, what you think is the natural order, the world of Bereshis Bar Elokim. In the beginning, Bereshis, in the beginning, there was an externalization of the name of Elokim. There was a bar of Elokim, like the Zohar writes, which is represented and connected to the world of nature. You should know that this name Elokim is really, in essence, is Hashem. Hashem hu Elokim, or Elokim hu Hashem, like the two versions that the Zohar speaks about. So this is the first. This is the way it opens up. This is the way the Torah opens up. But the way the Zohar opens up in this week's portion, the Zohar opens up Rab Abba Pasach. The Rab Abba opens up. He opens up this Parsha, meaning he's explaining, but he's opening up the Parsha. He's revealing what the Parsha is about. Of course, the Parsha, the story is a story of Exodus, the beginning of the story of the Exodus, where it's a story of the beginning of the plagues, and it's the story about Klal Yisrael leaving Mitzrayim, going out of Egypt, which ultimately is the experience of going out Ani V'lei Malach is through Hashem himself. But the process of going through Egypt is a long process, a year-long process, and the story of the plagues, and this entire unfolding what happens this week's Parsha. So Abba is opening up this idea, and he starts off like this. The pasuk says, Nishayim, Bitchu v'Hashem adiyad, ki biya ka Hashem tzur elam. So the pasuk says, the verse says, Bitchu v'Hashem, I put my trust in Hashem, eternally, adiyad, forever. Ad is also connected to a name that's connected to Bitachon, 74, which is Gematria Bitachon, Shemach, but that's for another time. So it says that I put my trust. Bitchu b'Hashem adiyad. Says the Zohar, Bitchu b'Hashem, kol b'nei alma boin leiskafko bein kochabrichu. Lemeheve rechatz no dalahen be. That everyone has to put their trust in a Kadosh Baruch Hu, in the Creator. Bitchu b'Hashem, a person should put their trust in Hashem. Iyachi, if this is true. So again, there's a way to read psukim. There's a way to read the psukim of Psukim al Torah in a hyper literal way, which means that you're reading it word for word, not in the context of what's trying to be said, but almost word for word. If you read it that way, it seems to say like this: there's bitchu b'Hashem, that you should trust in Hashem, and ad you should have trust also in or connected to ad. So what is the ad? Now, literally, in a figurative way, way of reading it, Bitachon Hashem Adi Ad, as a statement, it means you should trust Hashem forever. But if you read a little Bitchu, trust in Hashem, and then Ade Ad, and then also in Ad, or with Ad. So what is Ad? What is that word Ad? Ihachi Mao Adi Ad. What is Adi Ad? Ela begin the Hey Tuk Nash. The Zohar says this is what it means. And it should be the strength of the Barnash. To connect himself with something that is connected to everything. And this thing that's connected to everything, Ikroy Ad, this is called Ad. And this is what we have established. That says in the pasuk, with regards to Binyamin, the tribe of Binyamin, Yaakov gives the bracha. It says in the morning he should eat Ad. Ad can be the spoils. And it refers to the biza, the shalom, the idea of the spoils. Rashi brings down, Rashi brings down, South Kabbalah brings down. That it refers to the spoils. So there is the Zohar is saying that there's a trust that a person has to trust in Hashem, and then a person has to trust in the level of Ad. What is this Ad? So the Zohar continues. V'hai Ad asad achad l'chol sishton. This Ad refers to a state, a reality that's connected to all sides. Connected to this side, to that side, to the right side, to the left side. This is something that's connected to all worlds, all realities. This is the desire of everything. That Ad, again, reading hypo literally, Ad is the taiva, is the desire of Kivas Olam, of the mountains. What are the mountains? Mani Kivas Olam. So also the Medrash says, that is Harim and Klois. Harim refers, big mountains refers to the patriarchs, the obvious acclamation. And Gvois refers to the matriarchs, the Mois. Se'ila and Etei, these are the two mothers. Nukvi, these are the feminine mothers. Yovu Shmita, which refers to the Jubilee year and the Shmita year, the 7th year and the 50th year, which is refers to Bina and Malchus, the Ikur Givas Olam, while the Abra Min Olam Adol. So the Zohar is saying that what does Adi Ad mean? That a person has to connect themselves to the reality of which Malchus is connected to, and which Bina is connected to, and which connects all sides. What is this? What are we referring to? So the Zohar actually doesn't explain this clearly, but what the Zohar seems to explain is that the Adi Ad refers to Zohar, which we'll try to understand what this means. That a person has to have the trust in Hashem, and that's not the highest level of trust. That's not enough trust. So the person has to have trust in Zohar, in the Ad, which is Zohar, in the small face. What is this referring to, and how does it actually translate into our life? That's if we say that the word Ad refers to Zohar, which clearly it seems to be because Bina is connected, and Bina is drawing down light, it's connected to some desires to be the light to be drawn down into Zohar. Malchus desires to receive the light from Zohar. It's also possible, we spoke in the past, that Ad refers to Das. This is the reverse letters, which refers to Dea, Das, and Moshe, which is Das, is the idea of awareness, conscious awareness, observation. Moshe is the level of Riyah, is Bechinas Das. Moshe is the level of Das, in order to extricate ourselves for any type of constriction or limitation that we feel ourselves in exile. The first step is to step back and to see. And that gives a certain amount of perspective. So if a person feels they're being challenged, they're in a state of anger, they're agitated, they're not feeling in the right condition. What the first thing a person has to do is to step out of himself and observe himself having these experiences, to recognize that they're experiences and they're not the experiencer, they're feelings but not the feeler, they're thoughts but not the thinker. That's the witness self, the witness, the observer, the aid. That's what Moshe, by Hashem Kisar Lears, Hashem sees that Moshe sees the burning bush. Moshe is the seer, the potential chacham idea of seeing. That's what Moshe eventually doesn't enter inside the soul, into the Holy Land. He sees the Holy Land is connected to Yosef. He takes the Thomas of Yosef, the bones of Yosef, which the Gemara says in Zohar, the Gemara says that in Migdash Shila, that Pesach HaKloim, in parts that were here, a lot of East and Kachim, anywhere you can see Migdash Shila. The Mishkan Shila was in the Chelik of Yosef, even though part of it was in Binyamin as well. But it was in the Chelik of Yosef, and since Yosef he didn't have a Lazan Lahedes, that's something that doesn't belong to him. It's also the Kaicharia. But let's not go that direction. Let's talk about more that it seems to be connected, and the way the Mevarsha and the Zohar, the commentators Zohar mostly say that it has connected to Zohar. So what does the Zohar say? The Zohar is saying like this, and then we'll try to unpack what this means. There's a type of trust where the trust is completely a surrender to a certain process, a certain awareness, a certain level of consciousness that I completely trust in Hashem, in the Koyach Ein Sof, the power of the infinite light, the power of Kadosh Baruch Hu, and I surrender all my free choice. It's not about me doing or trying to be ishtadlus, trying to participate and trying to help the situation, but I completely trust. That's one level of bitachon, which seems to be a high level of bitachon. But there's actually something even higher. And we'll start with this. There's a medrash. There's a medrash Eicha Rabbah. The Psychon in medrash Eicha Rabbah says like this: there are 4 kings, and it says like the 4 kings of Kal Yisrael, the 4 kings of Israel, like this. One was David HaMelech, one was King David. And David HaMelech says, one was David HaMelech, one was Asa with Yeshafat, and one was Chizkiyahu. So David HaMelech says like this: I pursued my enemies, and I overtook them. And he said, now Hashem, you do your part. So Hashem said, okay, I'm going to take care of them. I'm going to get rid of them. So I pursued them, and I overtook them. The second one was Asa, Yeshafat. And the second one was Asa, and Asa said that I lacked strength to actually overtake them. I could pursue them. But now, Hashem, you do your part. And Hashem says, okay, I'll take care of them. I'll pursue them, and I will do that. I will kill your enemies. Yeshafat says that I don't have the strength to pursue them, certainly not to chase my enemies. But I will sing to you a song. I will sing praise to you, Hashem, and you do your part in order to get rid of the enemies. And Hashem says, okay, I'm going to do that. And Chizkiyahu HaMelech says, I don't have the strength to kill them. I don't have the strength to chase them. I don't even have the strength to sing. I'm going to go to sleep. I'm going to go on my bed, go to sleep. And you, Hashem, take care of my enemies. And Hashem says, I will do that. Now, the way we can read this medrash is that there is a level of David HaMelech who says, I will chase them, I'll pursue them, but I can't finish off. So you do your part. You're asking Hashem to do his part. And Hashem says, I'll take care of it. And the other side, which is Chizkiyahu HaMelech, is someone that says, I can't do anything. I can't pursue, I can't chase, I can't even sing to you. I can't do anything. All I can do is, I can go to sleep. In Tifshkol V'Simcha, I'm not afraid. I trust Hashem, and Hashem will take care of everything. I don't do anything. It would assume, one can read this medrash, this teaching, and saying that David HaMelech was on the lowest madrega, the lowest level, and Chizkiyahu was on the highest level. But the truth is that it can be read totally the opposite. And we're not talking about to mashvat tzaddikim and to say who's higher, who's lower, but the idea is that there are 2 types of bitachon. So let's go back to Zohar, and then we'll bring it down to understand what we're saying. Malchus is the world of doing. Malchus is the reality of the world as it is, in every moment. If you want to take a temperature, a spiritual temperature of where the world is in Malchus is in a fallen state, a higher state. So speak to people on the street, whatever people are talking about, that's the state of Malchus. If people are talking about Achdus Hashem, oneness of Hashem, then you know Malchus is a high level. People are talking shallow speech, then you know that Malchus, the world is in a lower temperature, spiritual temperature. That's Malchus. So Malchus is the world as it is, the observable world, the world as it is. In Malchus, that's the place of our doing. That's the place where we're participating. That's the place of our action. That's the place of our free choice. Then there's Zohar. That's the state that's beyond that, beyond Malchus. What's Zohar? Zohar is the chayes, is the life force, the moichem that is being drawn into Malchus. So Zohar means the recognition of Hashem's light that's penetrating and enlivening our action. So there's the world of our action, or let's say there's the world of our b'chir, the place of our free choice, and there's the world of Yidi, the place of where things are already predestined or divine. There's the Amud Yichud, there's a place of Geula and Tefillah. It's the place of Tefillah, which is a place of lack, which is Malchus, the place where we're still in a state of lack and we're doing things, and we're trying to better things. And then there's a reality of Zohar, which is a state of Geula, a state of redemption, where things are already in a perfect state, in a state of perfection. When we do Malchus in this world, when we're doing our actions, Chizkiyahu Melech says, what does the Chizkiyahu say? I can't do anything in this world. There's nothing for me to participate. I can't do anything. What I could do is I can go to sleep and surrender. And I say, Hashem, you're the controller of the world. You're the master of the universe. You do what you have to do in this world. I'm just going to step aside. That's sort of a spiritual posture of a person saying that my free choice or my engagement in this physical world with physicality is almost irrelevant. It doesn't really matter. So the only thing I could do is actually step aside and let the divine life force pulsate through me. I'll go to sleep. Sleeping is just a metaphor of non-action, of non-doing. So I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do now. And I'll just let whatever has to come through will come through. Doesn't matter if I'm participating in it or not, because I can't do anything anyways. That's one way of living. And that's a type of trust where the trust comes to the exclusion of my participation. And the less I do, the more the life force can come, the more the chayes, the divine life force can come. I have bitachon b'Hashem. But there's a deeper level of trust, there's a deeper level of bitachon, which is that in the place of where I'm doing, in the physical world, in the place that I'm doing, I'm recognizing that even in my doing, and I need to do because that's what Hashem wants me to do, and I have b'chir, I have free choice, and I should activate my free choice. But even in the place that I'm doing and I'm participating, I'm involved, I recognize that too, that without the divine life force that's giving me strength to go through this process, without the trust that there is a divine unfolding that's occurring through my action, nothing will happen. That's a higher level of bitachon. Because the first level of bitachon, the first level of trust is a spiritual quality that comes in a negation of the physical. So I can't do anything. So the only way spirituality could exist if the physicality doesn't exist. So the metaphor is I stop doing it, therefore I allow the life force to come through me. I'm not going to get a job. Why should I get a job? Hashem wants to give me parnasa, wants to give me livelihood. It'll come directly from Hashem. And Hashem needs to give me health. It'll come directly through Hashem. I don't need to go to the doctor. I don't need to have a job. I don't need to participate in this world. That's one level. That's a lower level. The higher level is the awareness that the greatness, the place of the greatness is the place of actually is humility. The greatness of the divine, of the koyach eliki that comes down to this world, is that it can come down to this world, even in the place of my b'chir, in the place of my free choice. It doesn't come at the expense of my free choice, and therefore it collapses my free choice. And I can't do, and that's the only way I can connect to that light is by me non-doing. But even in the place where I'm doing, and I do have b'chir, I do have free choice, I recognize that it's only through and with the divine that is allowing this thing to unfold. This is a higher level of b'chir. This is a higher level of b'chir. This is a higher level of trust. It's a trust in the thing that holds all the systems together. This is what the Zohar says. This is the Synthesizing. This everything's being held by Zohar Ampin, because Zohar Ampin is the place where the higher is going to flow down through the lower through Zohar Ampin, and Zohar Ampin is the highest, the life force that is experienced within Malchus, within the creation. This is literally when Abba's Pasach, or Abba opens up this teaching. This is literally what the whole parsha is, what the entire portion of Vaera is, and what the beginning of the whole portion of Vaera starts with. What does it start off? It starts off the saying like this: Vaera, that Elakim al Moshe, Vayomer Elo, Ani Hashem. Elakim speaks to Moshe. Elakim meaning the world of nature, the world of constriction, the world of limitation, the world which appears to us as less than Megameklum. It doesn't have any light on its own, and it feels opaque, it feels dark, and it feels constricted. So Elohim speaks to Moshe and tells him, you should know that Ani Hashem, that what's really in Elohim, and Elohim is nothing more than a kli to the name of Hashem. And that's what the exact numeric value of Shem Elohim 86 is the Kli Hashem, is the vessel to the name of Elohim. The Kli Hashem is Elohim. Elohim is the Kli Hashem. So there is a revealing of the name of Hashem that is transcendent. There is a revealing of the name of Hashem that shatters nature. And that, therefore, when there's a light of that light that comes onto this world, there is no Malchus becomes superfluous, becomes completely overwhelmed. The vessel of Malchus becomes completely overwhelmed. All you see is the hand of Hashem, and that's like the story of the going out of Mitzrayim, going out of Egypt, with the Makkas. Yadum San Keni Hashem, that there'll be a revealing of the name of Hashem, and therefore Parsha says that who is this Hashem? I don't know this Hashem. That I should listen to this voice. I don't know Hashem. Parsha says I live in the world of Elohim. I live in a place of constriction. I live in the natural world. You're telling me there's a supernatural, divine aspect of Hashem, which is transcendent of all nature. I don't know that world. I'm connected to the world of nature. I understand that there's natural powers. I understand maybe there's the highest natural power. Maybe there's one natural power, Hashem Elohim, which is a word in plural, suggesting that it has all the multiple forces in the universe as one. It's a lakav Elohim. Oneness that's holding all the multiplicity and all the polarity. I can understand what Parsha says. You're telling me Hashem. I don't understand Hashem. I don't understand something that's beyond nature. And what happens to the story of the going out of Mitzrayim, the going out of Egypt? There's a revealing of Hashem. There's a revealing of Hashem's name, both for Parsha, for the Mitzvah, and for Klal Yisrael, for everyone. There was a revealing in this world of the name of Hashem. But here's the question: if that's the truth, that there's a revealing of the name of Hashem, and Hashem is transcendent, the revealing of transcendence that's beyond all the workings of nature and the mundanity of reality. So it's beyond the entire construct of slave and slave owner, between oppressed and oppressed. So how come there wasn't an instantaneous revelation of the divine, of Ani Hashem, and the people will go out of Egypt automatically? There will be the absence of all limitations. Why did Moshe have to go through this process? Hashem comes to Moshe Rabbeinu and tells him, I need you to go to Parsha. I need you to speak to Parsha and tell Parsha that to let the people go. And how long is it going to take? It's going to take a while. In the beginning of the end of last week's Parsha, Moshe Rabbeinu comes to Hashem and says, you told me to do this process, to come in front of Hashem. They come in front of Parsha and speak to Parsha and tell him to take the people out of, I want to take the people out of Egypt. Hashem said to take the people out of Egypt. So he says it didn't only get better, but it got worse. So why do I need to participate? What Moshe Rabbeinu is really arguing and saying is, Shlach l'biyat tishlach, Hashem, you take them out of Egypt. Aniv malach. Eventually, that's what's going to happen. You're going to take them out of Mitzrayim automatically. So then take them out. Reveal the name of Hashem, the higher transcendent name of Hashem. There's no Elohim. Elohim collapses. And Hashem Elohim, there's no Elohim anymore. And it's revealed. There's Ani Hashem. It's only revealed Hashem's name. So why do we need Elohim? Why do you need my participation? Why do you need my bechir? Why do you need my free choice? Why do you need me to go try to convince Parsha that Parsha himself should want to send the people out of Egypt? Somehow this is part of the process. It's not just that happens instantaneously, but Hashem wants that Parsha itself, Mitzrayim itself, which represents, the Parsha is the epitome of Mitzrayim, the epitome of Klippa, the epitome of Olam Hazeh, this physical world, of the power of this physical world. Literally the most powerful man in that time period, but symbolically the person that's holding the power of this world, and that person himself should say that Klal Yisrael should go out of Mitzrayim. Why did he need that? The answer is because the highest level of the highest level of bitachon, the highest level of trust in Hashem, is not only to trust in the miracles that is beyond nature, and therefore collapses of nature, but the highest level of miracles and the miracles that are melubish with that actually are vested within nature. Because then there's a miracle and there's nature simultaneously functioning. That is Elokim within Ani Hashem. And that's the revelation of Parsha Vaera. That's what Hashem is saying. I want to reveal myself, my infinite self, within the multiplicity of the finitude of creation. I don't want to reveal myself as the infinite self that collapses the finitude, that collapses the particularities of finitude within creation, and it's a revelation of the infinite light and breaks open all concealments and all constrictions, and there's no longer the idea of any type of metzer, any type of constriction. But I want to be revealed within Mitzrayim. I want to be revealed within the constrictions of an Eibel Elokim. Because that's the ultimate objective, and that's the way we're supposed to experience life. Then and for now and for all eternity. Our understanding is that the ultimate way to be in this world, of course, we have to connect to Bitachon Hashem. We always have to trust in Hashem. And that's ultimately, that's the highest, that's the level we should always be at. We should always trust in Hashem. But what does it mean to trust in Hashem? What does it mean that I have full trust in Hashem? I have full trust in the Creator. It means I have full trust in the creation and in my creation. The more a person trusts and believes in their own power of bechira, their own power of free choice, the more a person believes that their actions can make a difference and that their actions are infinitely valuable to the Creator and creation, the more they're actually showing that they believe in the Creator, not the less. Because the highest level of bechira, the highest level of bitachon, is not the absence of self, but it's not the absence of action. It's not the absence of bechira. It's not the absence of free choice, but it's specifically revealed within the place of the free choice. To reveal even in the choices that we're making. And every single day we're making choices, hopefully, to better our life, to become more spiritual, more connected to Hashem, to Torah, to mitzvahs. Every single moment that we're connecting and making choices in our life, in the place of our malchus, in the place where the light seems obscured and we don't feel the light, but we're making clear the best of our potentials, but that's for the best of our capabilities. We're trying to make differences in our life. We have to be dovak and adayad. We have to be connected to the recognition that even in the places of our free choices, even in the place where we're trying to make a difference, we're always connected to Hashem. And it's Hashem that's helping us and allowing us to achieve the choices that we need to achieve. The whole idea of bechira itself, that we're not creations, but part of the Creator, is because we're connected to Hashem. So every time we're activating our free choice, every time we're activating our own greatness, every time we're believing in the possibility of our free choice to make a difference in this world, is another deeper level of revealing HaKadosh Baruch Hu's presence in this world, the Creator's presence in this world, and is a revealing of a deeper truth of the highest level of bitachon. The highest level of bitachon is what David HaMelech said. That I'm going to do what I can do, and everything in my capabilities that I can do, I'm going to do. I'm going to pursue, I'm going to chase, I'm going to have to do whatever I have to do in this world. And I'm going to do it with a lot of zest, and a lot of chayes, a lot of vitality. I'm going to do it. And I recognize that I do, but as much as I can do, and then ultimately, Hashem, not only will you allow it to chanol, you're going to decide how it's going to work out, despite the fact that my choices, ultimately it's your decision how things are going to work out, but I recognize that you're with me in every single part of my choice. And that's the highest level of free choice. That's the highest level of bitachon, the highest level of trust. Have a wonderful Gemara Shabbos.